Hello, my lovely soul, and welcome to Unstoppable Confidence. I am your host, Lauren Glick. I am here to bring you my energy, my motivational speaking, and me being a confidence mentor. My mission is to inspire women to own who they are, step into their higher selves fearlessly, and live a life with unstoppable joy. On this show, we are going to cover everything from aligning your life to your higher self, setting boundaries, self-growth, and living a purpose-driven life. Let's get you living a meaningful life you cannot wait to wake up to. Stop driving and start living with ease and abundance. Cheers to living a magical life. And I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. Now, let's head into today's episode. Okay, Michelle, I am so excited to have Michelle here, my love. It's interesting how we met. How did that even begin? I became her mentor and then she became mine, and we're just like mentors together at the same time. It's kind of a
And she accuses me of making it happen, but it had nothing to do with me. No, I don't know. She goes, "Did you do that?" Yeah.
I'm very thankful that she came into my life, and her knowledge and experience as an entrepreneur and her journey is very inspiring. Because I know, Michelle, you started out in the corporate world. So where did you start out? Because I know you were working in the as in the corporate world for more than 10 years, correct?
Oh, yeah. No, I was there. Well, I retired from the corporate world when I was 34. And I started my career when I was in college at 18. My parents divorced and I needed to pay my way through college. So I got a job, and fortunately it was at Bank of America.
Yeah.
So I could go to school in the morning and work in the afternoon. And when I graduated from school, I went on their management training program. I had a kind of a walk-in opportunity to be in lending. And that's really where I started my career and how I started.
I didn't know that, because I thought you worked for a different corporation.
Well, I started at Bank of America, and they literally, I loved it. It was a really great opportunity for me through college in student relations and student loans. But I, what I found that I loved about lending was that I loved being out of the office and building relationships and bringing in new clients. And I was good at it, and building new accounts and revenues for Bank of America. They were like, "You're the one to watch." But the problem was you're the one we can't pay. We can only, at that point, you have to wait and stay at one grade until you could get it. And I'm bringing in millions of dollars of upfront loan fees in real estate finance for developers. And I was making $18,000 a year.
Oh.
So I was like, I want to be paid for what I'm worth, right? Yeah. I want to be paid for what I produce. We're all worthy of being paid more. But in this case, it was really that I like to build things. And I realized and learned that about myself. And that's when I left banking and went into sales and marketing.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, see, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here you don't know.
Yeah, but I absolutely love that. You were very successful at a young age, and you saw that, and you were like, "I deserve more," so you went for it.
Yeah, I think and I feel like that's the best blessing in life, especially just as a human being, is to, if I think of one thing that I've done, is I've trusted and I've been able to let go when I learn or hear that, okay, this isn't, being observant. This isn't really where I'm meant to be, because even though I can be successful here, when I went to quit, they were like, you're going to be one of the vice presidents. And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe, but that's not really where my goal is. And nothing about banking. My husband was also a banker and now is an entrepreneur as well. But I, I got into marketing. I was hired by actually, luck. I was hired to do a sales position in a company that sold computer-based training. I knew nothing about computers. I went to my first conference where they said, just ask people what computer they use. And they said DEC, which isn't even around anymore. And I spelled it DECK, and everybody laughed at me, which was DEC. So I really got to learn about computers in the very beginning. Yeah. And especially selling computer-based training, I kept saying, I don't know anything. And they go watch the training. That's, go look at what you're selling. Yeah. But it really gave me that background and the experience to be in the beginning. And as a woman, because when I went to college and decided I was going to major in business, I'm just going to add this story to it. Thank you, Dad, who just passed away. Yeah. But as we're getting to college, he raised his hand in the back of the room and said, I'm concerned about opportunities for my daughter. She wants to be a business major and, opportunities for women in business. Yeah. This was in the 70s. And the professor fortunately said, your daughter is in the right place at the right time. And I, was in a lot of classes, and it was all mostly men. And the same thing when I moved into the corporate world, it was, and into sales and marketing. But what was so great is the power, I think, that we have as women is that we're natural nurturers, and we're not just intuitive, but we're inquisitive, and we care about and want to learn about what somebody's needs are. And I think that's why I was always really successful. I didn't, I hear my son who's in sales now. Yeah. And he says the same thing that I knew. He's so a little bit like me, or a lot like me. And he said, I love this because sometimes I can help people and solve their problems, and sometimes I can't. I just have to figure out what the problems are and see how I can help them. So that was what sales gave me an opportunity to do. And in that first position, I was in the second top sales producer before I quit with a yankering to move to New York. Ooh. Go figure. I know.
You just randomly up and quit and moved to New York because you wanted to?
No, I went to New York with a friend, a friend. I was dating him for my 25th birthday, and he was from the East Coast. Hadn't really spent time back there. And I just fell in love because in California, we have a house that was built in 1876. I love history. And it was really just being in a place where there's so much history. Everything's not new. And I fell in love with the traditions of which is why I love traveling the world, right? There's something in it that brings out that deep richness of history and life that, I don't know, kind of feeds me.
That's interesting because in LA, I took a history of architecture in Los Angeles, and I didn't know that there is a lot of history in Los Angeles, even though it's not really, in between all the huge new buildings and all the new housing, there is some pretty good, solid history in LA. But I didn't know that about you either, Michelle. Yeah. So when you moved let's fast forward a little to your transition from sales, which I think is super important as an entrepreneur to understand sales. And that really hit me pretty hard about a year ago when I was online. I knew my niche, but that sales portion was really challenging for me because I had never been in sales. As you know, my listener, my loves know that I'm a retired city firefighter, and sales was the last thing I needed to do as a firefighter, right? Somebody calls you and then you just walk into the front door and they expect you to just do your job, right? So that sales is really important.
Listen, I am always in awe of you because I could never be a firefighter. I mean, I look at that and I'm like, are you kidding me? Walk into danger? I mean, that scares the heck out of me, right? Yeah. I could walk in front of a room or stand on a big stage and not be scared, but to walk into I am so
thank you.
Grateful for you and your service and your bravery, because it's crazy.
Right? It is. I mean, the first couple times, and it all goes back to training, right? Of knowing, and that's why where we get our confidence is from the training. And we had things called like burn boxes where we would go in and study fire behavior, because there's things called rollovers, and you would see the signs of, oh, this is going to flash, which means everything in the room catches on fire. So we would study things like that. So just in case we were in an actual house and things like this happened, and we were so busy in our city that we saw a lot of fire. And the more you were around it, you can't ever be comfortable, but you have to be confident. That was a good saying, Lauren.
That is, can't ever be comfortable, but you have to be confident. I'm going to steal it.
Yeah, because it's so true. It's like, yeah, we could have, because you never know what can happen, but to have the confidence and the education behind you is really important.
Well, I also think, you can never be comfortable without being anyway. It's such a great, and
it's also, and it also goes to the point of people never grow in their comfort zone. So just don't be comfortable.
That's the whole point, right?
Yeah. Just keep moving forward, keep doing things that you've never expected to do, because
that's how you build confidence.
Yeah.
Going beyond your limit.
I'm impressing myself right now, Michelle, but back to you.
So I'll have to tell, I was, as we're talking, it's so funny because you're saying you haven't heard this before. And I'm like, oh, I haven't thought about that for a while. So they're kind of stories that you're bringing up and out of me. And what's interesting is when I left, when I said I was moving to New York, it was just like, when I said I was leaving the bank, they were like, they're going to kill you. They're going to eat you alive. You're so naive. You're just so young. And I loved New Yorkers because they were so honest. Say, why would I do that? And I go, well, why not? And then they tell you why not. And I said, so if that would happen, would you do this? And well, of course I would. I go, well, that's easy. I can go make that happen. Right. It was so clear. And I love that directness of it. But what happened for me in New York was, again, in life, I was given an opportunity, and it literally happened because I went for an interview. I was there for a year, and I was in the top salespeople in this small software consulting firm. And another company tried to recruit me. And I went into the president's office, and he said, why should I recruit you? And I said, actually, I got a call. I'm ready to leave this industry. I really don't like it. I feel like I'm a high-priced call girl walking around trying to get deals here and there. And I really feel like I have a brain and more purpose. Yeah. And he said, well, then, and so I said, so if you're not different than this company, you really shouldn't hire me. And he just looked at me. He said, so talk about confident, right? Yeah. He said, and he goes, okay, well, thank you for your time. You can leave now. And I said, because I just said it would be a waste of your time and my time unless you're different. I don't like this. Yeah. And really, I'm insulting his industry. But what happened was he called me back 2 weeks later, and he said, or his assistant said, could you come in and see the president? And he said, look, you want to go build something at a high level. You want to have a relationship at a high level. You don't want to just sit and wait. He said, I'll give you IBM all over the world. And I was like, he goes, I want in. Nobody can get in. He was an ex-IBMer. Yeah. And you can have IBM all over the world. And I didn't have to ask what he was going to pay me. I was like, I want that. Yeah. That's a challenge that I want to go do. And in the first 6 months, I'm knocking on doors and they're slamming in my face as fast as I'm knocking. And he keeps going. Everybody said, he's going to fire you. You haven't done anything. And I'm like, I know. Go, don't fire me. I think I'm onto something. And I was, again, blessed with being in the right place at the right time. They were a hardware manufacturer, and they needed to be a solutions provider. They were getting beat up by these other companies that were delivering solutions. And the only way to get from hardware to solutions was to write software. And so I just said, I can help get the right people in the right place to help you get your projects done on time when you need it. And that's what happened. 5 years later, they were a $50 million client because we just solved their problem. And that's why when you think of sales, it's not sales. It's thinking how can I help you meet your goals?
And that's the thing. And also to go back to your saying of, I got really lucky. I was in the right place at the right time, but also at the same time, that just doesn't happen on a whim. Like, you're out there doing shit. And to say it in no other terms is that you weren't lucky. You you put in the work. And when you put in the work, yes, that's divine. I think it's like divine timing of like, okay, now I understand. And it just clicks, right?
I was going to say, it all goes back to confidence, you and this confidence club, because it's also that fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm confident what I can do, because I just believe I can learn anything. And I'm a very observant and try to just be a student and figure it out and all of that. So I'm confident in that. But literally, I'm starting knocking on these doors and I'm like, uh-oh. I mean, how do I get in? I don't know how to get in, right? I mean, all that you're in that, you can't get to confidence until you go through, what's the word? Catastrophe craziness, right? That's that scary part of a fire. That
I think that's true. It's like,
right?
Especially, and it's so, because I've never been in the other opposite side of things, that I truly think the most successful people have been on those points of like, I don't even know, like I'm so far down that you have to climb out. But maybe that was just because that's the way I did it. And a lot of entrepreneurs that I know, most of them, all the women on this podcast, Unstoppable Confidence, have like a gnarly story of their past, and they're just go-getters and they never give up. And yeah, that's what I
love unstoppable confidence, because the fact of the matter is you have to be confident and be unstoppable, because even when your confidence fails, you got to keep going.
Yes.
Right. The fire's coming, the opportunity's there. You got it. That's the secret to building unstoppable confidence, is to be unstoppable with the obstacles that come up in front of you, because they do for all of us. And I just see, far too often, it's hard. People,
and just to relate it back to fire, right? Like with confidence, okay, I have the confidence to go into this fire, find the seed of it. Like I know all my contraindications of things to like move out. But if something bad happens, like we have training before something bad happens. We used to have like wire props where we have like big SCBAs on our back, that breathing apparatus, our helmets, everything on our turnouts that could entangle us, right? So we always were very situationally aware of everything going on. But if something did happen, right, your confidence, like there's that sketchy point of like, you could freak out right now, or you can just mellow and ground yourself, because if you freak out, your confidence is just going to go out the door. But when you ground yourself and you're like, okay, I'm trapped in a fire and something, I know, Michelle, this has gone crazy. But if you're like in a fire and something like falls, so you're like, you can't get out, you only have 15 minutes on an SCBA bottle, which is your air within the fire. And if that runs out, you will literally just burn your airway. So they taught us rescue breathing, which just is slowing down. And once you slow down your breathing, you slow down your thoughts, you really ground yourself. And I think that's the unstoppable part of like, holy shit is literally hitting the fan. I don't know what the hell is going on. But you're like, okay, well, I ground myself in the chaos and understand I have education behind this. And yeah, it's gone a little haywire, but we're here, we'll figure it out. And that's the unstoppable part of those things, is like the education and your training and knowing that, okay, shit has gone haywire, but I have trained so much for this. I understand that we have our ways of getting through this.
Well, and that's your confidence coaching, because it is, fires are going to come. Yeah. I mean, and it really is. I love the grounding and really breathing, because I mean, I think that's how we all have to get through those moments in your life where you're just like, and actually, I think really, I mean, I try to do it numerous times a day. So I really appreciate you just kind of dropping me back into my body as I'm up here. And grounding and just going, it's so good. It's going to be okay. I'm going to figure out my way.
Yeah.
Wherever it is I'm going. And that's what stops us all. We get scared, right? It's that something steals our confidence or overwhelms us. And so we give up on ourselves. We give up on our life. And so anyway, thank you for that gift, because it is about just stopping for a moment, getting back in and remembering how reminding yourself how you went through a fire before and you came out alive, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. You're bringing out all these stories, Michelle. I've never done this in any other podcast recording before. So
Really? Well,
yeah.
I was going to say, we got to get over and do this at Clubhouse because this,
Yeah.
I'm like going, this is fun. I'm having fun having this conversation with you. And
Yeah.
I thought I knew you, but you know what? The thing is, you have such a great ability. And this is why I hired you in the first place to teach me and actually give me confidence. Thank you, Lauren, to go into Clubhouse. So if there's another example for me, we all see something and say, okay, I'm sure I see that platform has power and it has the possibility. What I loved about it from the very beginning, because I was like, oh my gosh, not one more platform. I can't do it. I'm already ADHD and OCD. I'm just like, too many things pulling at my attention and distracting me.
Yeah.
But I went into Clubhouse and I heard people talk and have a conversation and share stories. And that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I love this space. I love hearing people's stories and learning and the stories and how they spark, like you just did, for me, the reminder of something and teach us. And that's why when I saw you promoting your program for confidence in Clubhouse, I was like, that girl's confident. I need her. I want to be in there. And so that's why, you're the one who got me there.
But you have done huge things in Clubhouse, and I absolutely love what you're doing. And just a little promo, because there are mostly all women listening to the podcast. Michelle has a room with Women in Wealth. That is her new club. And her rooms are Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you could either get those, you could find her on Clubhouse at Michelle Skaff, Skaff with 2 L's in Michelle. Or Michelle, what's your Instagram handle?
Michelle Skaff.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, okay. I'm really complicated.
That was really complicated.
Well, I used to be Rethink Living Now, and I don't know why Instagram shut me down. But
it's
then someone
a blessing
said
in disguise.
It is a blessing in disguise because it was really, it's easy.
So my question is that you were working with all these different corporations. You were flying around the world with IBM, and you were just like an international mogul. Is that the right word? I think it is. How did you change from working with a corporation to being an entrepreneur?
Well, it wasn't a plan because I had been promoted as vice president of this company, the only woman in that role. And I was, life was great. We're making money. I can travel anywhere and having fun, which is the whole purpose of work for me. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I went to work one day and the president sold his company because someone wanted that IBM relationship we had built. It was a very valuable client relationship. He made a bunch of money and I went to work going, wait, I'm sorry. I built that from like nothing. And that's mine. No. So it was like a divorce where your spouse just walks out on you and you didn't even expect it. I was like, what?
Awful. Yeah.
No, it was awful. And interestingly enough, I was in a relationship that ended at the same time. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like everything, my whole future in terms of how I'm going to live every day and then how I'm going to work every day is empty. Wow. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And I have just, a great faith that things happen for a reason. And I just said, I get it. You want me to move someplace else. The problem is I got nothing. Like my pockets are empty. Where am I supposed to go? What do you got in mind? Okay. Because, and I literally just said, I can remember being in my apartment in the city, Manhattan. And I just went, okay, I'll let go. I got it. You wouldn't keep me here without, we wouldn't put up these roadblocks without wanting me to be someplace else. I will quit. This was in September. In June of next year, end of June, I'll quit. And hi there, Bruce. Here in Boston.
I know, I just muted them. Like, as I told you, that's really not happening.
Bruce.
We haven't had the visitor on the podcast lately, but as you ladies know, we live right on a horse trail, and Bruce and Lacey just decide to just jet on out.
I like horses. I was born in Idaho. I love being on a horse. So what was I saying?
I know you were, I know. Thanks, Brucey.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks, Brucey. We're not even editing that out. I thought that was really cute.
Quitting.
Cute.
No,
Yeah,
don't edit it out. Quitting. Was it quitting my job?
Yeah.
Going to work, saying, okay, oh, everything ending.
Yes.
So here's the amazing thing, because it's really so important. And I think this is, when I look at a superpower, it's like trusting the universe, trusting life.
Yep.
And so I trusted it, and I set a date. And I always think, you make a plan and you set a date, it happens, things show up, and so much of it was you showing up in that way. But anyway, what happened was I said, June, well, all of a sudden I closed more business in that year with IBM. It was like I'm playing golf and I get a $10,000 or $10 million contract.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, whoa. And he'd call me and say, how do I pay you when, you keep producing? And I'm like, wow, what a big problem that is to have, right?
I know, that's a huge problem.
Is I knew he was working to really reduce my pay dramatically.
Yeah.
And 90 days before I was set to give notice, because June 15th, I was giving notice.
Yeah.
He said, we've changed your compensation retroactive. And I was like, June 1st, he sent that to me. I was like, you can't do that. That's illegal. And so anyway, that, and also I had met someone who was actually my brother, who was studying acting, and he went to the West Indies and studied with Sandy Meisner, who was the founder of the group theater. And he said, you need to go here. You need to study there. It's 1 month, 20 guys, 20 girls in the West Indies. And I was like, I don't want to be an actor. And they said, it'll change your life. He will teach you how to live. And I met him and I fell in love with him. And he said, I don't have a spot until July 1st. And I said, I got no place to go July 1st. I'm going. And that's what happened. I literally quit and walked into the West Indies and studied with Sandy. And it wasn't about acting, even though I did some. It was really about living and being present in the moment. And that's what he taught, right? Life is, and acting is being real in who you are in the moment. The words just float on the river of that emotion. And so that's really, it was an opportunity to move out of building someone else's life and being present into my life.
Ooh,
and I moved to LA. That. Yeah, I didn't even think about that story until you brought it up either.
I love it. And you moved to LA. So when you, Bruce making his appearance again, that bad boy.
Bruce.
He's a bad boy right now. He's like, Mom, I want to come in. You're recording.
Yeah, he likes me. Come on, Bruce. Come on. Get over here.
So, and that's the greatest part about this podcast. Like, we could be really serious and really talk about.
I can't be really serious.
I know, but that's the thing, is that's how I teach too. It's like, it has to be fun, Right. So, because I know what you do now. So how was that transformation over for you from working for other people and making that corporate life for you work to being that entrepreneur?
Well, it was the hard part for me was I was taught this is what you do and you climb that corporate ladder, and I was on it. And so it literally, when that happened, I was like, wow, I've spent my entire life living up to and building other people's dreams, my dad's dream. And it's like, what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go live my life and find myself. And, I was fortunate because I had the financial independence and stability to go do that, to have those choices to travel and just go find me and be in an ashram and all of those other things that were part of that journey that helped me to be the person that would attract my husband and 3 children later. And so I wasn't working. I was serving on boards and focusing on things where I could bring value into the world, that areas that I cared about from a nonprofit standpoint, when I lost my health. And it was the first time, it was 50 going, what? My body gave out and I had a neck injury and it was an accident, but chronic pain. And I realized that our number one asset, our number one wealth is our body, our health. Without it, doesn't matter how much money you have or how incredible your children are. It was hard to be a mom and be happy and be a good person in the world. I was literally miserable. And at the same time, the economy tanked. And, 2 things that could look bad. I was praying for answers for my health. And when the economy tanked, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get a job or leave my children who came after my career. And I someone that actually, oddly enough, it was the ex that I knew in New York.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, thank you, God. There is a God
Yeah.
who reached out to me and said, you need to see this. It's your right place, right time opportunity again. And my reaction was that there's just no way. How would that happen? And what would he know? And I was skeptical, but fortunately he said something that just said, told a little bit about a health story. And for me, that got my attention because that was the problem I needed to solve. And it got me to drive to GNC, buy a bottle and change in that first 30 days, see my health change. And then if you had known me, Lauren, I would have called you and go, hey, look at this.
You need to
tell me
look at
what
this.
you think. Look at it and tell me if it works for you. And I started to see it wasn't just me, that other people were having these experiences. And then I started to dive in and do some research and all of those other things that I do for my due diligence. And I found a way to build a business from home inside of my life in a way I never, ever, ever thought I would do or could have imagined. But by the grace of God, it is my purpose. And it has been a gift and allowed me to do what I know how to do, help people. Not by trying to get them to do something or sell something, but to help them understand and see the power we all have in our hands to make a difference. And so that changed my life, and it gave me an opportunity to become an entrepreneur without the risk or without having to manage everything. Because my husband said, if I were an entrepreneur running a traditional business, I would run it into the ground. I'm not a detail person. I'm not a detail person either, is my problem. I don't even if I showed you what the mess that's around me, you'd go, his place, everything's perfect. He is a detail guy. And that's why I love him. I can say, I can't find my glasses. He goes, they're in the bedroom, but over there.
Funny.
I go, how do you know that? And he goes, because it's not where they belong. I go, they belong somewhere? I didn't know that. I just have 10 pairs.
Yeah.
But again, we all have our own superpowers. But mine is really the ability to really see inside of people and opportunities and to figure out how to help people get to the top and get where they want to go. And that has just changed the way I get to look every day, because I'm not managing people, which is what I had done. I'm helping people be their best self and to do what they want to do, get where they want to go. And it's just really brings joy in my life every day, because just to be a little part of somebody's life and to see it shift and the lights go on and they see how incredible they are and they have confidence.
Yeah.
Back to that confidence word, that C word,
I know.
Right? I mean, that. I mean, it is why unstoppable confidence is everything, because once you believe that you can do it, and then you do it and you do it more, and it's just, you're not climbing up that hill of confidence. You're just riding down that road of confidence with some, until the next thing you need to learn shows up and you got to.
No, I love that. And two things, because I know that you're very high up in your company. And then two is that so thankful I ran into you in my life, because my health has extremely increased as well. For my listeners, they know that I had a pretty bad flare-up of my autoimmune disease in January, and I couldn't even roll over in bed from excruciating pain. And now it's my second week of playing soccer. The first week was crazy. I was like, I'm going to die. I can't breathe. But I mean, you go from 0 to 100, like a soccer game. If you get me on a field, like I'm going to run after a flipping ball. Like, I don't know. I just can't help myself.
That's that other C word, competitive.
Yeah.
I got that one too.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you for helping me with my health journey as well, because I know you truly do care about other people and their health.
Well, thank you for trusting me, because that's all it is. And I only put you in front of the information. You're the brilliant one who opened your heart to receive, and I'm grateful.
Well, thank you. And because I want to know a little bit about how you made it to, what are you, the top 10%, the top
0.5%.
You're in the top 0.5% of the company.
You didn't know that about me, do I? I don't behave that way.
No,
I'm
you
sorry.
do not.
I better behave differently. No, because it doesn't matter. I mean, I look at what it is. It's
Yeah.
just a reflection of hopefully the lives that I've had a part of changing.
Yeah.
For me, so I have to say, I failed miserably.
Mm.
I didn't understand a business model. I thought, again, I was managing, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to lead people,
Yeah.
and I didn't trust the system on the business model, and I led them down a path that I thought was the right way. And after a year, I'm failing miserably and ready to quit. And thank goodness my team wouldn't let me, because they were like, "You can't quit, because if you quit, we have to quit." And I was like,
Yeah.
but they helped me to just take one more step, and that one more step led to someone who is in. I'll put me back in the top 1,000%. They're in the top percent of, and I just asked for help. And I always say, raise your hand often and ask for help. People do really want to help you. And he grabbed it, and he literally mentored me and changed my life. And not just my life, he changed everybody's life that ever since then. That's the ripple effect of who we are and what the impact we have to make just by one person, helping one person. And that's what he did for me. He helped me, and that helped so many others and thousands of people, because he taught me how to do something simple and to help other people do something simple. And he mentored me and coached me, and he believed in me, and he trusted me, and he told me what to do. And so he took all of the guesswork out, and it took me a while, because I was stubborn, sometimes we are, but like, yeah, but right. Or I don't, I resisted. But when I finally had said, I'm done falling and failing, because I'm not doing it, something's not working, I will let go of what I feel like I should do and trust what you're telling me to do. And I think finding a mentor, I mean, Lauren, that's why I hired you. I have learned the power of investing in people who are where you want to go, like you, and asking them, what, to take my hand. And in this last year, I mean, one of my favorite things, I'm going to put a plug in for Darren Hardy, because early in my life, he taught me in his book, The Compound Effect, our life is simply the compound effect of every choice we make in every second. At the end of our life, it will be the culmination of all of those little choices adding up to the life you lived. And I went, oh, and 90% of them we make unconsciously. So it was like, it's time for me to really be conscious and be deliberate and intentional about the life I want to live. And that's what I'm trying to inspire other people, because it's really, he was my earliest mentor of that, and the road less traveled. I teach my kids, we're not taking that freeway. We're not going down Highway 5. We're taking the back roads. Right? Let's go the road less traveled. And, there's adventures along the way, and memories that you're going to create along the way. So anyway, that's what it has been in my life. I mean, always find someone who's where you want to go and ask them for help, because I would help anybody. You would help anybody, Lauren, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what changed my life. It changed my success. And I literally this morning, we were supposed to start this earlier with a new mentor that I just was like, I need these things, and not for me, but for my team. And, he said yes. So always figure out what you need and ask people for help.
I absolutely love that, Michelle. And I truly do believe it as well. Because sometimes you get people asking for your help, and I'm always willing to help. And like yesterday, I got a message saying, thank you so much. I know your time is really valuable. I just wanted to let you know I'm just not in a space in my life to invest right now. And when I get a comment like that, it's pretty disheartening, because not for me at all. Like, I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, to have somebody say that, you're like, well, when is the right time? There is no right time. Like, and I really truly feel like whatever it is, she was like, just investing, period. Like, I can't do that no matter what it is. To me, it's all about really just, if you see somebody, like you were saying, and that you're like, I want to get to that point. And I was talking to her for a really long time, really giving her valuable content and information on how to grow and networking and all those great things that I love to do on Clubhouse. And when somebody knows and sees that value and they're like, oh, can't invest, it's like, that's just interesting to me.
But
it's
you know
like,
what it is, sweetie?
huh.
They don't see their value. They don't see their value,
Wow.
which is why they don't have that value equation. My mentor said to me one time, and I don't know if this will help you, but
Yeah.
you know, I want to help everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And he said to me, he said, if I could change one thing about you, it would be this. You're not going to like the analogy because
Yeah.
I'm not a gun person.
Yeah.
But he said, you are like a semi-automatic rifle. And I think when he came out of his mouth, I started to cry. I was like, what? And he goes, no, you spray your energy like bullets everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, oh, no, I'm really going to cry. That's exactly what I do. He goes, it's exhausting. I go, I'm exhausted. I am exhausted. He goes, you want to help everybody, but you can't.
Yeah.
You need to be like you need to be like an assault weapon. I was like, worst analogy. But anyway,
Yeah.
You need to focus your energy on the people who you can help. Just two
Yeah.
or three people right now. Help them get where they want to go, and everyone else will watch. And then three more people will step up, and that's really what it's doing. But Lauren, you help me. More people are coming. You know, it's just that you focused on the people who are ready.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody, and you're going to get a lot of no's. It's going to be a lot of people that say, I don't feel worthy to make that kind of investment. It's too big for my worth. Instead of I will make that investment because I need my worth to be at that level, right? I need my
totally
confidence,
agree.
right?
No, and that's the thing is that I truly do believe, totally agree with you. And coaching and having a mentor in being an entrepreneur is always needed. If you ask me, it's like, because you could get stuck in a rut, even though you're in a confidence coach, you're like, okay, what do I even do next? It's like just talking through the steps of where you're at, where you want to go, how you're going to get there. And that's all coaching is.
Well, I think that's the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur too, as I listen to you say that, because as an entrepreneur, we aren't coin operated. You don't do this, whether you do it good or bad, you get paid.
Yeah.
Right. This is about, you're constantly putting your value out there. You're constantly, showing up even when the reward may not be there for a period of time.
Yeah.
And that takes a belief and a confidence that, just so few people have, which is the hardest part, right? I mean, that's why I kept thinking, I can build their confidence. I can pour belief into them. I can do these things. But what was interesting is recently I said, I'm going to probably retire in the next 18 months. And they're like, what? You can't. And I would never retire because I can't retire from helping people that I love. But it was really like, I'm not going to do the labor intensive part of developing leadership, because that's a journey that takes a lot of time. And therefore, I don't know who wants to be at this point, who wants to be that leader. But raise your hand and let's go. We'll run side by side and we'll get you where you want to go. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, when I did that, people that thought I would be there forever, that weren't doing anything for themselves, all of a sudden became leaders.
Oh,
right. Well, because they were like, wait, you're leaving? Wait, I want to be that. I am that. I mean, and so they're building their belief in themselves. And I thought, wow, it's so interesting. We think we help somebody by coddling and taking care of them instead of, I'm going. I want you. You got a spot. Let's go. Ready? Yeah. Who's ready? Run. Are you ready to run with me? And you're going to see who's in the race, right?
Michelle, that totally describes you 100%. And that's why I absolutely love working with you.
Thank you.
And
I love that you're a runner.
Yeah, I know.
I know. And now I go play soccer all the time. You'll get faster.
And that's the thing is, like, since I've been feeling a lot better and playing soccer and tennis and running, it's all, that health journey. So
yeah,
I absolutely love it. And I adore you. So thank you for being you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you would like to add before dropping your contact information?
I just, gosh, what would it be? There are a million things I could add.
I know.
Bring me back another time so we can have another conversation.
I know.
Because you bring things out in me that I don't really, I haven't, I love this. I love having a conversation because it's like going on a ride. You never know where it's going to take you. And so you've taken me through a part of my life and you've helped me to see things where that I have built confidence. I think it's I mean, what I try to do every day is count my blessings, start a day with, gratitude and all of the ways that I am powerful, and try to catch myself when I tell myself anything else.
Yeah.
And that's hard. Someone just told me about the book, The High Five Life. Have you heard this?
No, I haven't.
It's Mel Robbins. And I'm literally at this event. She goes, we're really, she's just like us. She's just a get it done girl, and just full of life and fun. And she said, I go, oh, I love Mel Robbins. And she goes, no. You got to get this book. And I was like, why? And she goes, it's The High Five Life. And she goes, trust me. Well, I respect someone. I'm just like, okay, trust me. I'm going immediately to my phone and I'm getting the book. And it's so, so freaking incredible because the whole point is this brain tells us a million times a day what we're not. You're crazy. What do you think you're doing? It's like, it's constantly in your head. And so for me, I told you I have to like stop this brain from telling me I'm reprogramming it. But really the way to reprogram it is to replace those thinking. And so what she does is she does high five, right? When you're high fiving somebody, right? High five me. It's like, boom. That's, it's just kind of, you're happy. You feel confident. It's, you just, there's no like, hi, right? It's like,
you can't go dinky high five.
You can't go dinky. It's like, bang. But so what happens every morning or 5 times a day or 1,000 times a day, whenever you need it, you just go up to that mirror and go, God, you're amazing. Oh my God, that was good what you just did. So literally I'm going to, as soon as we finish this, I'm going to go, wow, that was fun.
Oh my God, I'm going to do that too. Give me a high five right now. 1, 2, 3.
High five.
Boom.
Boom.
Oh my God, that was really fun.
I mean, you don't even have to read the book, which I've made making everybody on my team read, because the bottom line is we're here to have a high five life. We're not here to be small. We weren't born with all of these incredible skills and talents and just beautiful, powerful things inside of us that we have no idea, just waiting to come out. And it's like, you got to go for it. It is, right? This just one brief moment of time on this planet. And I will, it just reminded me, and this is me, because things come in and I'll just have to blurt them out, of being on an airplane, which I spent a lot of times on airplanes in my life in sales and marketing. I said, I have this ability to be okay with myself wherever I am, because I've been alone in, in sales in that way. And I'm on this plane sitting next to a woman, and she was just so adorable, and her gray hair and older in life. She was 80 or so. And we're just having this great conversation. At the end of it, I said, so at the end of your life, or at this point in life, what is the one thing that you've learned that you would pass on for generations? And she said, I wish I would have worried less.
Ooh.
You do not sit on your deathbed. You're not laying on your deathbed at the end of your life and going, God dang, I wish I would have worried more. And I said, oh my God, that's going to be my mantra. I will worry less every day. A high five. Like, boom. Let's go live a high five life. Let's have fun. Let's celebrate. Let's be all that we can be, so we can just every second high five ourselves.
I literally wrote that down. I worry less every day, because I'm a worry wart too. But
Sweetie, everybody, and in the world today, we've been bombarded with worry, and and the bottom line is, if we could take anything from these last 2 years, in a second, the world changed.
Yeah.
We stopped doing what we were doing. We stopped running around. Did it create more worry? Yeah. It's like, what happened in my life? Right. But the point is, we realized how interconnected and interdependent we are. And everybody all over this planet has experienced the ripple effect of this moment. And that knowledge for me means that we can make life better for everyone if we can change thinking in a second, right? And that's my ultimate goal, is to really, not worry. I mean, find the ways to high five each other, ourselves, our life, this planet, and this beautiful universe we get to float in for a brief point in time.
Well, I love it, Michelle. And I love the way you speak, and your knowledge and your wisdom. And this is why I love this episode and working with you 100%. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. Wisdom comes with age. It is. The older
Michelle,
you get, I read something the other day and it said something about, in your later years, you turn into more introspective and reflective. And it's true. And I want to make sure that my years aren't filled with regret, right? Or worry.
Well, no matter what age, I love women with wisdom, and you definitely have it. You're my people for sure. And it's interesting. People on Clubhouse are definitely very full of wisdom. And that's why I love podcasting, is because people like you who have so much life experience, who have knowledge and are go-getters. You don't let life hold you back. You're like, okay, that happened. I'm going to get up and keep going. Just one step at a time. That's all we can do.
I just wrote down women and wealth, or women and wisdom. I think we should do a wisdom talk next week. What do you think? Will you join me?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. I was like, I'm booking you.
Yes, I love it. And we'll talk exactly like how we did today.
We'll have fun. Well, no, and we'll bring more people to that conversation. So if you're looking for something to do at 1 p.m. Pacific time next Monday, Lauren just said, yes, you heard her, that we're going to do Women in Wealth is the room. And we're going to talk about wisdom, how we bring it into the world and how wisdom came into our life, because that really is what this has been about. Stories about how something brought wisdom into our lives and how we grew.
Well, I absolutely love it, Michelle.
Yeah.
So to drop, how can women find you? Where is where Michelle hangs out?
I live in Sonoma. No, I'm kidding. Come on over. Come on over. I can show my backyard. I am Michelle Skaff. So I'm on Instagram, Michelle Skaff, Facebook, Michelle Skaff. I'm just me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
See, there was a reason why.
MichelleSkaff.com. I don't know. No, I don't even like my website. Now you're going to go there. So don't go there. Okay. I want to get it redone.
This is like a common day, Lauren and Michelle conversation. Okay, this is the website. And you're like, no, actually don't do that. And you're like, okay, just tell me what you want to do. Just tell me. It's either you or me saying the exact same thing. It's like, oh boy.
That's why we're such good friends and partners. I love you.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, Michelle Skaff. That's
on
me.
Instagram. She's
on Instagram.
Yep. And she's Michelle Skaff on Clubhouse. So if you go to the profile, because I've never really walked you through this, so this is a little learning point for people as well listening. If you go onto Michelle's profile and scroll all the way to the bottom of her profile, you'll see the club she's a part of. The club and their little square boxes. The one way on the left will be Michelle's club, and that is Women in Wealth. If you click on that and she has the room scheduled for next week, it will be right on the top of the link to the club. And if you press the bell, then that will notify you of that room. So you could also join the club Women in Wealth, so you can visit us in our hour talks on Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There are some phenomenal wisdom that are full of wisdom in that club, because holy moly, we have attracted some gnarly, crazy, powerful women that are just so grounded, full of life and love and gratitude. So hopefully you can come into Clubhouse, be a part of Michelle's community over there. And on that, loves, thank you again, Michelle, for being here. I absolutely love you. We will definitely have to do it again, and maybe talk a little bit more deep into one certain aspect of your life. And on that, Michelle,
we're going to drill down.
Yeah, we're going to drill down something that we're not good at, really focusing, but
it'll be a good exercise for us.
It will be very good exercise for us. But on that, Michelle, I love you so much. And to the listeners, we will talk to you on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, here's the intro for Michelle Skaff. Hello, my love, and welcome to the Confidence Collective. Okay, it's not. Start over again. Okay, here's the intro. Hello, my love. How are you? Today, I have a fabulous guest for you who has been through ups and downs in her career. And she is the woman that really helped me get my health back in order. Because as you know, that I had an autoimmune issue in January and I couldn't even get out of bed because of the muscle spasms in my back. So her journey of entrepreneurship is extremely inspiring. She is full of wisdom, and you need to listen into this episode. So lovely, here we go, and I will see you on the other side. I hope you are so excited about where you're going, because I know I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for listening in today. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with a girlfriend or posted it on social media. Tag me so I could personally say thank you. I am so grateful. And until next time,